Welcome back to another episode in a Spiritual Ascension, my own 5-year journey. So, if you're just coming into this now, please go back to the very first episode and go from there because I'm telling my entire 5-year story. And if you kind of come in at the middle, you may get kind of lost. So, where I left off, which the last one was kind of interesting. Um, the last day of my job that I planned on leaving after the 2 weeks was done. I was going to go into Manhattan to drop off my laptop at the company. And I left early so that I can get there before everybody else because I don't like that goodbyes and where you're going and what happened, everything like that. So I got there early, went in, um, left my laptop. I think I had a couple things still there. I left the keys and then headed out. It's a crazy thing that things that happen, everything happens for a reason. So I go across the street and I jump on the train and I'm planning on going up to, I'm going to say, what's that, Third Avenue area of Upper East Side. I hadn't been up in that area in a long time. And I used to be up in that area, quite often years ago. So I was just going to walk around there, have lunch, and then kind of call it a day, say my goodbyes kind of to the area as I had been doing to different areas of New York, as I had done in New Jersey. Like I felt like I was never going to come back here again. When I got up, when I got up to um, that area uptown, I realized that I was supposed to pick up some of my prescriptions before. That was my one thing. There was a CVS right by my job there. So I was supposed to leave there and go pick up my prescriptions for my eyes. And instead, I totally forgot because I was trying to get out of there and got on the subway and went all the way uptown. And then I was like, oh my goodness, like I needed to get it because I needed to take those with me. And I had to get back on on the subway and come all the way back downtown and go to CVS. So as I get off the subway, like I say, everything happens for a reason. As I'm getting ready to cross the street, now the CVS is right near where my company was. I see the young gentleman, I'm gonna call him a gentleman, but the young guy that had been giving me a lot of conflict. And um, I see him cross the street and he turns around and he looks at me. And so he probably was like, oh, it was kind of like, I don't know, this weird interaction, energy exchange there. And I knew he was happy that I was leaving because from the start, I think they wanted him and the manager there kind of wanted a certain type of look for their company. And I guess I wasn't that look. So, but I had the skills. And the owner really wanted me to work there. So I was hired by the owner, but the manager and this guy were there all the time. And they kind of, you know, whatever. And had hoping that I would never have to see him again, but it's so weird how spirit works. So anyway, I went and picked up my prescriptions and I jumped back on the subway and went back uptown and I walked around. I hadn't been in Bloomingdale's in a long time. I used to, like I tell you, I used to shop so much when I worked my Wall Street job and always in there. And it just didn't, it no longer, it was so weird. It just no longer felt right. Being in there, like looking around and browsing and like I realized I had changed so much that the old me who, loved shopping and loved buying new things and really elegant things and stuff, that just, that no longer, it just no longer was there for me. I liked it very simple. Like I said, I had bought some t-shirts, some shorts, some sandals, because I knew I was going to be up in New Hampshire and just wanted to really have a more relaxed lifestyle, a simpler lifestyle. Um, so then I was trying to find somewhere to eat lunch, and I think I found like a little Mexican place around there, and I ended up going there to eat. And as I'm leaving, because I'm now going to head back to Queens to go home, as I'm leaving, I'm walking towards the subway, and I see this guy in front of me that I recognize. Now, I haven't seen him in, oh my goodness, 12 years? I'm going to say 12 years. About 12 years. I hadn't seen him. And, but I still, recognize him from his body shape and his head and everything. And I said, John? And he turned around and I had totally changed because like I didn't have locks back then when he knew me. And um, I probably was a little heavier because I had lost a lot of weight by that time from fasting. And he turned around and he was like, Marilyn? And like I was like, oh my God. And the thing about John, he when my son had passed away, I had just moved to New York, to Manhattan, and I had met John at school when I was doing my studies. And there was a mutual attraction, but he had a girlfriend at the time and, so forth and so on. But we became friends, good friends, and had worked together on some college studies. And he was in a fraternity, so I had attended a couple of his fraternity events. And when my son had passed, like everyone seemed to disappear right after. And he came over one night soon after I got back from New Jersey after the funeral and everything. And he just stayed with me. Um, I think there was the most beautiful thing ever that he just laid on the bed with me and just held me. There's nothing, other than that. But it was just like I needed that at the time. I'm going to start crying. I'm sorry. Um, because it's like people don't understand you lose a child. Like there's nothing like that in the world. And everyone was, my family and everybody else was so much in their own feelings and couldn't understand my feelings. And here I was alone in Manhattan, had no one else to really depend on or to go to. And he had come over and just held me all night. And it was just the most beautiful thing um, to have experienced, for someone to care about someone to that extent, like I'm here for you as a friend, you know. Sorry, but I get choked up in these videos sometimes. You have to bear with me. Like I haven't really, like I said, I haven't told anyone these stories. You guys are the first ones hearing it. So like me saying it, like speaking it out into the universe for the first time, even though I've written like journaled all about this, it's kind of like a healing. to be able to experience, allow those emotions to flow. Anyway, um, so he's like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm good. Nice to see you. Um, what have you been up to? Like, I can't believe, so forth and so on. Like, just like they always say in New York, there's like, I think 8 million people. Don't quote me on that. I think there's like 8 million people in New York City. And if the weirdest thing is if you meet someone that you know just randomly, like not planned or anything, if you see someone somewhere and um, that there's something to that, you know? And so anyway, I said to him, I said, I'm moving to Maine well, not Maine. I said New Hampshire. I'm sorry. I said, I'm moving to New Hampshire in a couple of days. He's like, New Hampshire, why would you go there? And I'm like, I don't know. I just have this feeling to go. I told him that. I said, I have this feeling just to go. Like, I'm done with New York. And he's like, really? Like, there's none of us up there, which is, if you know what I'm saying. And I said, I don't know. I really just want to get away from this area. I want to have a simple life. And um, he says, well, let's exchange numbers. He says, actually, I know someone up in Maine um, that I could connect you with. She does like outdoor, she has a group that does like outdoor activities and stuff like that. And I thought, oh, okay, that would be good. So we kind of hugged and um, left each other, parted. And afterwards, he kind of texted me and he's like, oh, you look really good. And I'm like, no, dude, it's not happening. So I said the same thing to him. I said, you look well. Like, it's been 12 years since we've seen each other. And, you see the changes a little bit, but he still kind of looked the way he looked like 12 years ago, excuse me. So, um, something made me think, I know my old life of how things used to be is ending. And do I want to continue to hold on to people, situations, and things? Getting ready to finally, after all of these years, since 2017, when my father in spirit told me to go to the New Hampshire, Maine border. And I've emptied my life out of all old situations, people, environments, and things like that. I have nothing to do with anyone left from my old life. So do I want to bring this person into my new experience with me? And I said no. And as hard as it was, because of course, there was that kind of like interest to see, catch up with him, what he'd been up to, talk to him again. I kind of said no, So I ended up blocking and deleting his contact information. It's going to be difficult for you, and it may not be difficult in some situations for you to let go of people. Others, it may be difficult. But understand on this journey that you are on this journey for a reason. You've chosen to come into this life to do this ascension. So I knew that it was kind of something about that last time. Like I said, if you run into someone in New York, there's a meaning to it. And there was something about me needing to kind of see him and thank him, even though I didn't thank him right then, thank him energetically for having been there for me at that time, the time of my son's death, um, when I didn't have anyone else. So I'm going to leave it here for this one, and I will continue on And thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like your own reading or to talk about your own ascension journey, there's a link below to book time with me. And I'll see you in the next one.